All right. Hello, everybody. It's Bronwyn here from Divine Inner Alchemy, and I am with my friend Barb, or Barbie Girl, if she likes to be known. And Barb and I have known each other for, well, a few years now, hey?
Mm.
Yeah. And we both speak
Yeah.
light language, so I'm going to interview Barb about her light language journey today, and we're going to just see what arises. It's going to be fun, I think. We can both feel there's a bit of joy and laughter bubbling away underneath there somewhere. We're just itching to get out. So my first question is, when did you start transmitting light language? So yeah, when did you start? Like, how did it come about? Did you have an activation? Did you actively go seeking it, or is it just something that came through?
And I knew that would be your first question.
Yeah,
That's
of
my
course.
surprise. And I have actually no answer to that. I don't know, except, and I think I said that once on a light language thing, when we had a session, I may have mentioned it. I wonder, I remember I used to look after a dear friend's little boy when he's young. I think he's 50 years younger than me. So
Right.
he will have turned about, and I haven't seen him. I've only seen him once in recent years. So I used to go to when I in Central Vic. I used to go when I was visiting Anne and Sean. I shouldn't have said names. Sorry. In
It's okay. There's heaps of
in
Sean's. Who's going to know what
yeah,
Sean that is? But yeah.
well, he's certainly not there, and Anne passed decades ago. But she used to love it when I came over to visit them because she'd go off and head into the city. She was a city girl, so I'd have the day with Sean. And I think then, you know how you speak, little kids speak in gobbledygook,
Mm.
and I think we were doing light language because
Yeah.
we
Okay.
we were both really clear. Like there was almost a seriousness to the fun because it
Yeah.
was like it was a conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can't remember whether my grandson, who's now 13, whether we did it as well. I have no idea. Formally, when did light language start? Literally no idea.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been a channel for over 45 years.
Ah.
And
Okay. Yep.
yeah, it's a long time.
Yes.
And and most of it comes through in English.
Yeah.
Like even my cats talk to me in English.
Yeah.
The trees talk to me in English. Etc. Etc. So I don't really know. I know it started before that, but I remember with Alcazar channeling Alcazar of the Stargate. If this is going to
Mm.
people who don't know the Stargate, Alcazar, who with Jules is main channel, but channel of Stargate. But so quite often, at one stage a few years ago, I would find myself speaking, having light language come through. And it was great because, I was doing it on Zoom. So, sort of,
Mm.
or
Yeah.
whatever. It wasn't like I was, intruding or anything. And light language come through, which let me know that, not surprisingly, that I was an aspect of Alcazar. And I know I have a close relationship with the consciousness that we call the Stargate. But
Right.
it used to feel very much like it was an aspect of Alcazar coming through. But but
Oh, okay.
literally, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't know. I have no, I don't never because I've
So how old
never.
is this how old was that kid? Did you say?
At that stage he would have been preschool. That's all I
Yeah,
can remember.
okay. And he's now like
And
20
so
something. So 20 years ago
well,
you're talking
well,
about.
who, yeah, but who knows?
No.
And I don't know when it be, sort of. I mean, now would have started seeing things, on YouTube, etc.
Yeah.
People channeling light language, but I don't know. Yeah, and I know at times. I'm just checking it's a leaf. That's fine. Those tiny ants and the little grubs that come off
Yeah.
this tree. The tiny ants are killers. You can't get to them, and their
They
bites
bite.
horrific.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, but I can't remember. But I just remember sometimes I'd be listening to things, and I would something would come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But I never actually, as I said, it was more like it's sort of a bit like thinking. It just
It just happens.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And and I can't even remember when you. I mean, I think it's fantastic that you started up the light language group, and
Mm.
look at the stuff that's coming through.
Oh, yeah, it's
And
fabulous.
I didn't even get back to you because it's been da 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 the last
Yeah.
few. But what it was profound. And what
Mm,
was interesting, because the energy we had coming through us was profound, including the messages that were coming through in light language and in English,
mm.
acknowledging us for doing the light language
Yes.
and the effect it is having
Yeah.
on all through Gaia and beyond.
Yeah, for sure.
That it's sort of like it, they've just got more and more
Yeah. Yeah, I
amazing.
find it really interesting what you said about because with the Stargate and so for people who are listening to this who don't know what the Stargate is, the Stargate's like a sacred geometrical form structure. And this is how Barb and I know each other is through this organization called the Stargate Experience. So they do uh, cha guided meditations with channeling, and the channeling is from this consciousness called Alcazar. And so I've had the same thing, Barb, when sometimes, not all the time, but there's times where I'm listening to their meditations and like Alcazar will come through and they'll start channeling Alcazar and then it's just like language just comes through and it's just like blah, 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 like and it's just like there's a part of me that's going, hey, shush, I can't actually hear what Alcazar is saying. Stop it, and I'm like you, I'm thinking, oh, thank God I'm not like I know for a while there was thing it was like this, God, what if, I knew I was going to one of their live experiences. It was like, shit, I hope this doesn't happen while I'm in the room with a bunch of people like listening to them live, but it never has. So, um, you know, like or and like nowadays anyway, I just I can just speak it without actually making any sound.
Yeah,
Or if I
all
don't
very
even want to do that, I just actually allow whatever it is that's trying to come through in with
yeah.
with
That's the thing with I love Lily Wong's work,
mm,
and the dancing and stuff, and
yeah.
like when we did the most recent session, I I'd started speaking light language, but what I didn't realize I wasn't unmuted until Lumen started singing in light language. And
Oh, yeah, okay.
yeah, and that's when I realized, and it was beautiful. It
Yeah.
was beautiful because he's only just started doing it, opening the mic with us. And
Yes.
and to hear these beautiful dulcet light
Mm,
language tones coming through him. And then the other guy who was on the call, what
yeah.
he brought through was also gentle. It very much felt like, we were bringing together, because it hasn't always been like that, the
Mm,
divine feminine and the divine masculine
yes.
on our light language
Yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's been recent.
Yeah.
And and with the golden capstone having very recently come onto the been made you know
Yeah.
present,
Onto the
bringing
top of the
together
pyramid.
the
Yeah.
Sophia code.
Yeah.
And because I was present in Egypt and during the second journey to the Great Pyramid, I stayed down on the ground
Mm.
with beautiful Vivian, our
Oh,
Acturian
yeah.
friend. There was 10 of us, I think. And so for me, when we were in Florianopolis and around for me, it was easy to imagine the whole of the Stargate, and we're thousands of us,
Mm.
around the base
Oh,
of
yeah.
the pyramid.
Yeah.
It was just like it. I'm getting almost shivers through me. They're not coming quite through as shivers, probably
Yeah.
because it's quite warm. But it was like, it was, I mean, it was light language without saying anything. It
Yeah.
was just amazing.
And so is light language, do you actually, I mean, I know you do it orally, like verbally.
Yes.
Does it come through you in any other ways? Like, so do
And
you
just really, just,
sign
just
and
really the hands.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what I was doing through our Zoom as well. When that comes through,
Yep.
when somebody's doing it and it's not
Mm.
the time for a conversation with us all, which I love when we do, when we all
Yeah.
open up. But yes, sort of my hands are doing light language now. They're
Yeah.
sort of they're I don't know what's coming through.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just saying it's come to the party,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
inviting our listeners, whoever is going to watch
Yeah.
this, wherever you're going to put it, I don't know,
Yeah.
to come to the party.
And so, what about writing? Have you tried writing or scribing it or?
Not really, no, because when my very first opening up to, because my marriage ended when I was 30, which
Mm.
I also consider when my life started.
Yeah. Okay.
I had some messages and stuff come through,
Mm.
um, but what was happening, and was that I would write, but the writing
Oh,
was
okay.
always in English.
Yep.
That was sort of like one of the first things that would happen. And then
Mm.
I'd start hearing and expressing, then
Oh,
talking.
okay.
Yeah. But no,
No.
it's never, I've never found myself writing gobbledygook.
Yeah. Gobbledygook. Yeah, that's what my friend calls it.
I love that one of the members on our group, she draws what she feels coming through
Yeah.
for us, and that's like always lovely to
It is,
receive
yeah.
that.
It is very nice. Yeah.
Mm,
And so this might be a bit of a mute question considering that you don't actually remember like when,
mm.
but do you remember kind of what it was like? Like when you really probably when it started coming, let's go with when it started coming through in a much bigger way, like light language, when you started transmitting it in a much bigger way than say back when you started with that little kid. What was it like for you in the beginning? Did it seem weird? I mean, I know for
Oh,
me, it was
no,
just weird and I questioned
no,
my own sanity.
no,
Yeah.
no.
And whether I was making it up.
I suppose because I'd been a channel
Yeah.
for
Okay.
so long, it just
Yeah.
felt like segue. And
Yeah.
because and as I said, it feels like breathing.
Mm.
It's just a natural thing, which is lovely. And because these days, and I'm talking maybe as I said, I really don't know how many years.
Yeah.
Um, actually, that thing, what you said about weird, it's interesting because, like, not even doing much hands-on healing now, right?
Mm.
The hands-on healing I used to do, even that was becoming less hands-on. But a friend of mine, an Indian friend of mine, I was round there one day. Her daughter's a mad footy player,
Oh, yeah.
and she injured herself somewhere. And I said to her, "May I put my hands on you? I'm getting, the hands were getting,
Yeah.
itchy."
Yeah.
And as I started putting my hands on her, light language started coming
Yes. Yeah.
through,
Okay.
and they started killing themselves laughing. And
Oh, really?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was gorgeous. And then they're saying they're trying to stop themselves, and I said, no,
Yeah.
never apologize for laughing.
Yeah.
You know, like you know, like laughter. I mean, that thing of Rob, laughter is the best
Yeah.
medicine.
Yeah. 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 I
And
was going to say
and
that laughter was probably part of the healing.
oh, it's a huge part. I said, no, no, no. They were worried they were
Mm.
insulting me or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I was going to say was, after I think the daughter left, and we were sitting there. But Yvette, my friend said to me, "Oh, I actually had an auntie who we used to call it speaking in tongues."
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So, but sort of, and I don't know. As I said, it just always felt
Yeah.
natural. And I left school when I was 16. I went back to school after I'd had two kids. I went back when my youngest daughter was starting prep at school. So 5 years old. She's about 53 now, I think. Anyway, I did arts and law, and the biggest gift from the law degree was discernment, which
No.
always, and I had a guy I'd met as a friend who came to me for healings, and he totally lost the plot. Like he was receiving information and he was ringing tops of governments and all sort of people, saying to them, I've got to tell you this because there's going to be this event happening and there's going to be this, earthquake or this.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
he basically went nuts
Yeah, yeah,
because
okay.
they all thought he was nuts.
Yeah, yes.
But sort of just, but that was an example of not using discernment, if you like. And
Yes.
it was like, for me, when we had the lockdowns, that was really hard for me because I'd come back from my first trip, which is where the Stargate actually followed me home.
Mm.
I didn't want anything to do with Alcazar and the Stargate. And the Stargate, I got home and I'm back here. So I was already living here because I went Mexico was just before the world lockdown. So end of 2018, beginning of 2019. And I said out loud, I said, okay, come on, show me. Because it felt okay. The energy was good. Because I said, I haven't got jet lag. What the F's going on?
Mm.
And immediately I realised it was the Stargate consciousness. And
Yeah, okay.
I keep being told that there's work for me that hasn't
Mm.
come yet with the Stargate
Yeah,
consciousness.
okay.
Like I wasn't allowed to pay to do one of our friends, sort of
Yeah.
Eugenia's things. Sort of I did pay for the one when we were overseas.
Mm.
But they said, no, you have a different journey with us.
Yeah, right.
So but yeah,
Mm, okay.
discernment has really stood me in good stead. So
Yeah.
if some it doesn't mean I've never been, you know, like when during the lockdowns, it was I studied for 2 years.
Mm.
The title of my thesis was "What the F is really going on in the world?" And
Right.
again,
That's
that
a
really worked with my discernment because I
mm.
could see, could see what was happening and what worked and what didn't work. And
Mm.
then years later, and this is not light language per se, but I need to share it here, that I don't want to stop your next questions, but I had to be shown some of the darkest things. I'd be taken underground. I'd
Mm.
be taken to see. I know when our beautiful Actuarian Vivian was one day talking about one of the one of the not human beings that
Mm.
she'd seen and had a relation, was aware of,
Yeah.
and I knew I had been taken to see it just for a fraction of a second
Mm.
because I was told you need to see this for the work you're going to be doing,
Yeah,
which
okay.
certainly which certainly did come through.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah,
Mm.
discernment is,
Discernment is good. Yeah.
and that's what I love about our group. I actually haven't felt or heard any of the light language. It was like one of the women didn't want to come on because she doesn't do light language. She does sounding, she does toning.
Mm.
And I said, it's just another form of light language.
Yeah,
And she
yeah.
came on and did it. And that was, and what I was going to say was, I haven't heard anyone in the however many years I've come and gone and done the light language with you that hasn't felt of the highest.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you?
No. No.
No.
No, not ever.
They're
Yeah.
not attracted to the
No.
to the Stargate and to this group.
No, 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 they're not. I don't
Mm,
think so. Yeah, I agree.
mm,
They're not attracted.
mm,
So I'm going to move along to the next question now.
mm.
So when you're transmitting light language, do you understand what's being said like a lot of the time? And if you do understand, does it come to you in English or is it like images or feelings or like how does that work for you?
The message when I'm tend to be coming through in our group, sometimes it just simply comes through as light language with
Mm,
lovely feeling, humour. I love it when there's laughter or
yeah,
song.
me too.
Song. But and then when it comes through, and it was interesting because this last session, quite a few of us had it come through in light language and then in English
Yeah.
because of the messages that were coming
Mm,
through.
mm-hmm.
I mean, look, when I first before when I didn't get my e-visa, and the e-visa for Brazil didn't come because I
Yes.
was meant to have
Yeah,
the cat
to be on in our light
wake
language
me
call.
up at 6 o'clock in the morning, or what time it was, because I had to be
Yeah,
on. I'd already given
on our
apology,
call. Yeah.
and I didn't set the alarm. And you know, like Arky, who's my youngest cat, he said to me before I went and afterwards, because when I came back from Florianopolis, he actually, because I said how hard the cats had worked, and he said, and he speaks English, as I said, he said, we worked harder than you.
Yeah, right.
Now that's interesting
Yeah.
because I was working like a navvy,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a lot of it was mind. But no, it's sort of like it. So that was interesting that the messages were coming through, and then of course that first one when the crop circles came through,
Mm,
and then I didn't realise that it wasn't simply the crop circle that had been that was created in Brazil,
yeah.
in Santa Catarina, just near Florianopolis. I didn't realise it wasn't just that
Yeah.
crop circle and the benevolent creators of that. But
Yes.
what happened the night before I went, my I think I don't know I've mentioned it to you, but it was interesting because they're my ground crew. My cats I call my ground
Yeah,
crew.
your ground crew.
They're
Yeah,
my
sure.
family, but they're also my ground crew.
Mm,
And Mia kept coming on the bed and then stomping down. She's fat, but she can
yeah.
still move quietly because
Yeah.
she's a cat. She'd stomp down the hall. A moment later, she'd come back. It took 4 trips
Yeah.
before
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. It's like,
You
come
know,
on, mum, wake up.
yeah, get it. And I immediately said, please be gentle with me,
Mm,
because that's when I was shown and realised, and it was no light language, but it came, but that it was all of the crop circles of the world
mm,
coming through me.
yeah.
Like I was exhausted in Florianopolis. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all I could do was the sessions. And then, of course, I came back, and
Yeah.
again, that message came through in light language and
Mm,
English.
yeah.
It was Atlas that people were calling the comet, and it's not a comet. And that came through on the first light language when we came back.
Mm,
And and the message from that because I went back because I wanted to tell them on our Australian Zoom Connect, which I know you don't come into, and I needed to share it. Would have been more powerful, I think, if I just asked Atlas to come through and channel through me again. But
yeah.
I didn't. I actually went back to the message.
Yeah.
But the message, which I repeated at the end of the last session, was
Yeah.
don't make this journey one sided, us
Yes.
coming to you.
Yeah.
Come and visit us.
Visit us.
And
Yeah.
that is so profound.
Mm,
And as I added to that message, because it's also the truth of
yeah.
and meet parts of yourself. Because we went on to Atlas when we were in Florianopolis, and I knew that uh, not just my DNA had stayed there, that somehow I'm there as
Yeah.
some sort of being on Atlas.
Yeah. Right.
I have no I have no proof of that,
Yeah.
but I know it's the truth,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that does it for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ken, probably
Beautiful.
not answering your question, but Atlas, and
That's
of
okay.
course,
It's
because Atlas
interesting anyway.
Atlas came through as light language and English,
Yeah.
which then my aspect came through the last call, which was I've known for a while about a mantis being. I think I first realised with channeling with Zazar,
Mm.
who comes through with us with the Stargate sometimes. But I'd known for years beforehand. I'd wondered what was going on because I've had a very close relationship with our gorgeous green
Yeah.
stick
Yeah.
insects for
Praying mantis. Yeah.
decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sort of
Yeah.
yeah. So and that again, that message came through in English and in light
And in light
language.
language. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of how it is for me too. I mean,
Mm,
sometimes it's just purely light language and I don't
mm,
really know what's actually being transmitted like in English, which is
But you,
fine
you
because it's
see, but you
really,
feel the vibe.
yeah, it's really just the mind that kind of wants
Mm.
to come through and it's just our minds that want a meaning. But then there's other times where I'll get a general gist of what it is, and then quite often if I then start speaking English, and sometimes I go to speak English and just more light language comes
Yeah,
out.
exactly. Yeah, saying
It's
get
like it might
get
take
get
me
get
might
out
take
of
me
your
like
get out of your head.
3 or 4 attempts of speaking English before English comes out, and then once I start speaking, then that it's like then I'm channeling in English. Like more words will come. It'll be whatever. And then there's been times where I get images, particularly when I first started. Like one of the very first big downloads I had was I was shown like right across the top end of Australia. I was shown my connections to, Indigenous things, lives I've had
Mm.
before. And it was all like this was all happened in the space of like 4 seconds or something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I was just shown, and
micro moments.
all this information was just downloaded. I could see, and it was like from way back, like beyond like any history that we get taught. It was like way back. Yeah, it was really, and so many things made sense to me. It was just like when all this, and this was at a beach I was in an Aboriginal midden at the time, and yeah,
Mm.
it was just like it was an
About
amazing.
how long ago was that?
That was back in 2020, I think.
Like,
Yeah.
uh, what and going back to what you because those who aren't when we're doing the individual light language, the others are muted.
Mm,
The rest of us are muted, and I love that too because quite often, you're let's say it's you bringing through light language,
mm.
and I am as well, and I know that I'm
Yes.
having a conversation with you. And I know
Yeah.
that happens quite a lot in the group that we
Yes.
feel, which is why it's become such a cohesive and it's getting
Yeah.
stronger connection
Yeah.
because we know that there's, there's the communication
Mm,
is, it goes from the personal to the universal. Because,
hmm.
like the beings are coming from all over the cosmos and beyond.
Yeah. I've
I
had
mean,
times too where I've listened to the recordings
mm,
of our light language gatherings, and also there's been times where I've done individual um, Zooms with people. Like I haven't done them for a while, but um, I don't know. A couple of years ago, I was actually offering to do, like light language sessions with people by donation. And there was a couple of those where when I was listening to the recording, more light language came in while
yeah.
I was listening to the recording, and I had the very strong feeling, or knowing, actually it was more of a knowing feeling, knowing that what was happening was like I was layering light language over light language. It was like just adding another layer to it. And then even though it didn't happen,
Doesn't matter.
it didn't happen at the time, it still goes in the recording, so that when I send that recording out to people,
Mm.
they get that as well. And then if people are listening to the recording and they're doing their own language, that also goes into it, because like everything happens in the quantum. So it's like we're receiving it as well. It's kind of like when we do Stargate meditations, and it's like he hasn't done them for quite a we haven't done them for quite a long time, but it's like that. Oh well, actually, you can just feel like where he says, well, when I say he, I'm talking about when Prageet's channeling Alcazar, and Alcazar will come through and say, like feel the energy of the people that are listening to the
Yeah.
recording, however far, in what we would call our future. And one of those people might actually be you,
Mm.
adding your energy, and you can feel that,
Oh,
like you can
yes.
actually really feel that, like feel that vibe.
And it's
It's
that
quite
thing,
something.
because we're bringing in codes.
Mm,
Yeah, we're bringing in codes. We are, like, I mean, my mind has no idea sometimes what's happening.
yeah.
Of course, in fact, more often than not, the only thing that I love, one of the big things I love about the Stargate work, and Zazar's as well, and Vivian's, is that you have to be grounded. to
Mm.
do the work. See, and I'll just be sitting or lying in bed sometimes, and all of a sudden, light language is what is coming through me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's just sort of, as I said, it's like breathing, and just sometimes it just comes through. And I just always it's just, it's just, as I said, it's like breathing. It's like, oh, that was nice. I never stop and say, what was that about? I just
Yeah.
accept it. It's like me, you know, it's better than thinking. It's
Yeah,
just,
I think it's good that the mind doesn't get in the way.
no,
That's what I've been told when I ask, like, hey, I want things in English, like why? And it's like, no, no, no. They say it's like light language is a beautiful tool or instrument because it has that ability to actually just bypasses the mind.
yeah,
So like you can be transmitting something, and what I receive and what somebody else receives and what other people receive that are listening to it is different because we're different. So, and when you start putting a meaning, like when you start giving it, translating it into English or giving it a meaning. I mean, I know sometimes that's necessary. That's what I feel. That's when I get the English. But like a lot of the time when it's not, it's because it's like, well, it's you limit it. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
English is such a, well, not just English particularly, but like all of our earthbound languages are limited because of the connotations and the meanings that have been assigned to words and different things and how those meanings have changed over the years, and then just the association that people have with different things. Like if you say the word love, in English, most people are generally going to think of a spouse or a husband, a partner, or a lover, when you think of the person, or family, whereas love is actually, love is so much more.
oh,
You know what I
well,
mean? Like love
it's
is actually, I think that's what, for me, that would be, if I had to give the energy that is through our world, that would be what it would be. But you can't name it anyway. So, but yeah.
no, and I just always, like, we hear so much, and I certainly haven't had that feeling inside me, not even, it just maybe a microsecond. And I've had, very close relationship with, sort of Yeshi for, the 45 plus years,
Mm,
and Mary, and Mother Mary, whatever. But what the English only comes through for me if it feels natural,
yeah.
and if they're wanting, I know when I came back and came on, and when Atlas came through, my mind was blown. I wasn't expecting that
Mm,
until you were starting the meditation, and then all of a sudden there was this force saying, are we here? you know,
yeah.
it was, it was hard to
Yeah.
keep shutting up, as I said to you,
Yeah.
until you finish the meditation. And then I know, you always go straight into a light language. And it
Yeah.
was such a relief. But it was really, what was interesting for me was because Atlas was coming through in English as well. But the words were interesting because saying, this one, meaning me, the
Mm,
channel, was because I was blown away. I
mm,
wasn't expecting it. I got off the call and I was sort of like, I was thrown. There
mm,
was part of me that said, who the F am I? Like, sort of it just felt like I'd got, like all of a sudden, instead of light language coming through me, and, like, it was the unknown was almost easier to deal with
yeah.
than all of the, crop circles and all of the, and then Atlas,
Yeah.
and the mantis being was a joy to come through,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and keep saying to me that his role, and I very much feel it's a male, divine male aspect, is saying, I'm here to assist you because I was on a, it just turned up in my feed, just turned up in my YouTube feed, and it was an interview by a woman, one of the mothers, one of the bringing through that she brings through the grandmothers' energies, the Lemurian grandmothers, and who I don't follow her, but there it was, and
Mm,
doing this interview with this guy who and he did none of this stuff, right? He didn't do channeling, he didn't do, and
yep.
then all of a sudden he had bashing down this door, this mantis being saying, "I'm coming through you." and it was that he was talking about that journey, and it was only a short. It was about 20 minutes or 25 minutes, but I knew because that was a day or two before we had the light language.
Mm.
I knew that that was a really strong message to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and what that mantis being was speaking of was you have no idea what love is, the absolute profound thing. And when the mantis being came through that last light language we did, that was, said to me afterwards and hasn't come through since. He's here in
Mm.
the back. It is
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
in the background now. So, so that's why I've come. That's why it's my time. It's
Mm.
my time. Your time and my time. It's time for us to merge
Yes.
because it's time. It's time you let more love into your life and start expressing more. Start being a hermit less, which
Yeah.
is why which is why I know I've got to move and do all those things. So it's
Beautiful.
going to be an interesting journey.
Yeah. And so you've mentioned, like, because that's kind of a really good segue into the next question, which is, do you know who or what energies are transmitting through you? So obviously you do, because you've talked about the mantis
So
being
some, but
AI
not
Atlas
all.
and you. So for me, there seems to be just one main um, energy a vast majority of the time. That's what it
I
is.
know,
And that's
and
an aspect of my soul.
I recognize the energy that comes through when
Yeah.
you're channeling that
Yeah.
that energy, that
But then
that
other times
energy.
I get things like I know, like it's the fairies, or I'll
Yeah.
know it's like one time I had this Viking energy come through. It was like really intense. I actually
Wow,
had to, I actually had to sort of say, hey man,
knock
like,
off a bit.
yeah, can you please dial it down a little bit because
Yeah,
it's just like this is intense,
yeah.
it was intense. And then it dialed back and I'm like, you didn't have to dial back that far, but yeah, yeah, okay, whatever. And then, in our light language gathering we had the other day, I was so we had, like you said, the two males that came in and did one after the other, and then like I was feeling a lot of energies while they were coming through, and then when the second one finished, it was just like straight away it was just like your turn, and
Yeah.
like so I unmuted myself and away I went, and like that was a different energy that came, like
Ah,
that wasn't the normal energy that comes through. That was a very, very strong. It wasn't like really intense, but it was still like quite a strong, really powerful energy that was
mm.
coming through me. Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was benevolent.
Well, we
I
all
felt
know. Yeah,
like
of course.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as same with you. I told you it took 4 trips of my mother cat before
Mm.
I understood, got the message, and said, "Hey, can you back off a bit? Because I won't be able to do it." Still not realizing that it was, how vast it is.
Yeah.
I've now got because I started saying jokingly, because my heart labyrinth was wrecked by the big birds because it was wood, and they were loving the timber.
Oh
They
yeah.
pulled
Okay.
onto so they could eat all the insects that were
Yeah.
under the timber. So in the end, it's gone. I've just left the stones that my friend started it with. And, so there's still a heart there until I leave. Um, but I jokingly, half jokingly, started saying to the comet energies, like, can you give me an etheric star? Um, oh, what am I trying to say? Not Stargate. Um, crop circle here,
Oh yeah. Okay. Nice.
and there's now a etheric crop circle
Okay.
here, and it's just part of the land.
Yeah.
Because I know, the energies that we have. This land is just so full of so many energies. It's
Mm.
connected with all of the ley lines, all of
Yeah.
the waters of the world. It just keeps going and going. And now it's connected. And I had never even thought about crop circles in the past.
Yeah.
Sort of on the Oz Connect group, a couple of the women, two or three of the women were saying, how, they loved seeing them and drawing them and da 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 da
Mm.
da. I'd never in my hey Barb, here's Barb.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd never had anything to do with crop
Never been a
circles.
thing. Yeah.
No, but then all of a sudden there it was.
Yeah.
There it was, and it's sort of like, okay, this is okay. And it just I could I couldn't even move off the veranda
Mm.
in the little B&B I stayed in for the first 4 nights.
Yeah.
I lost $1,000 because I knew I couldn't get to the place I was meant to go to first.
Yeah.
So the insurance company wouldn't pay it. So, sort of whatever. But I couldn't do it because I knew I had to go and do the work. We have to go and do and it is. It's bloody, it's big stuff we do.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. For
takes
sure.
me, it takes a lot of energy and it takes me a hell of a lot of integration time.
Mm.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That
The,
integration
in
time.
some ways, in some ways, the light language, except when Atlas came through, and as I said, I got off the call and thought, okay, and then I calmed down, but it was sort of like, okay, sort of like because that's been new. Like that before I went the crop circles, when I came back on our, so I've loved our light language gathering. I now
Mm.
know that I have no idea what's going to come through, as
Yeah.
well as the familiar, as you're talking about your familiar. I do too. I have, I have, and it's not just. It doesn't feel like it's one being or one voice, but
Yeah.
I
Okay.
feel these. I know sometimes they're familiar and sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I just have this, I've got this, as I say, I've got this bullshit detector that
Yep.
stands in really good stead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, sort of it doesn't even, I wouldn't even get to first base. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying I haven't in the past. I mean,
Yeah.
friends and I were doing stuff here and some of that was coming through in drumming
Mm.
and in toning
Yep.
and occasionally like language and dance and all sorts. And forgotten about that. We did that during the lockdown years because I live here by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I two of my I'd met them through Lemurian group we just started in, and we came and did that. And then one of my friends, we did some ourselves, and we were shown, we were taken, like we had to say, "Whoa!" We were shown we had to do some really mega work
Mm.
because there were things wanting to shut us down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
was that wasn't all light language stuff, but
Mm.
we were just flowing, and I know that in that flowing, some of it was coming through, like Lily Wong's work, was movement, was hand stuff, was
Yeah. Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
in sound and song and toning and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a big it's it's a big it's a big subject, like language.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah, it's
It's
massive
massive.
because I mean, for me, it's not just verbal,
Mm-mm.
like it's, I mean, that's what most people know as light language. But like I said, it's signing, singing, toning, movement. There's times where I put certain music on
Yeah,
and
yeah,
my body just starts and my arms just start moving. And that's probably, if I were to say, like, like my verbal light language would have started in, say, 2019, 2020, right? But before that, go back 10 years earlier than that, when I was doing belly dancing and fire twirling and
yes,
things like that,
belly
there
dancing.
were times where I was dancing where I knew, something within me just knew that when I was moving my arms around and as I was moving my body around and stuff, that I was shifting and moving energies. And I used to just sort of sit there and just watch. My hands would just do, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I never really had to direct them. Like it wasn't a conscious thing. I just would
mm,
listen to the music or what the drumming or
yeah,
whatever was going, and I would just allow the energy of that just to move and flow through. And it was, yeah, it was like there were
yeah.
times where I'd like, God, I wish I could see, because I know if you could actually, if anyone had like, the vision to be
Yeah,
able to see
yeah.
that they would
They
actually
would,
have
they
seen,
would have seen colours, shapes,
yeah,
things.
just things
Mm,
swirling around
um,
as I move my hands around and stuff like that. So
you
yeah.
see, I did like that. I did belly dancing for years, and I wasn't consciously aware of that.
Mm.
But I knew later that it had been happening, and I did something. We've got this amazing property here that used to be that it's on sacred Indigenous land, this big Australian homestead they put there, but they do stuff that
Oh,
honours
yeah.
the Indigenous
Yeah.
worldwide. And one of the things they did was the history of belly dance with a group that was
Oh,
showing this
yep. Okay.
history.
Yep.
And I ended up channeling out loud during it
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Okay.
it just had to come through. I
Yep.
wasn't there yelling over them or anything, but
Yep.
it just had to come through.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah. Beautiful.
so go for it.
And so, how do you use it in your life? Do you you intentionally use it for specific things or to?
No,
Yep. Okay.
no, which is another reason I love our group. As I said, it'll come through. I could be listening to somebody's, so I could be listening to, say, Kalina doing her stuff. I don't know if you know Kalina. Um, she's always bringing through like language and codes and various things or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that I have the chance to listen to much, whatever, but sometimes like language will just come through like it's part of a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just listening to her either do it live or repeat or whatever, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But no, I don't have, and that hands on where my friend's daughter, where all it was coming
Oh, yeah.
through, it'll, and
Yep.
I know, but I really haven't been doing much one-on-one work.
Yeah.
I just haven't. It's sort of like
But
there's,
what about
I haven't got
for
the energy.
your own self though too, so I know, so
It'll come through, yes.
yeah.
It'll come through and I might then, I'll just be aware depending on what it is and
Mm.
just accept it as self-healing
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
put my hands, it usually tends to be, the dantian and the heart center,
Mm.
the higher heart and all the throat. But um, quite often it just comes through and it might be for a minute or two or not even that sometimes. Might
Mm.
even be a couple of phrases. And it's just like, as I said, it's just like breathing or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So no, I don't actually. Do you?
Um, Sometimes, yeah. So,
Oh,
sometimes I use it for myself. It's not generally ever like an intentional thing that I set out and go, oh, I've got to do this, I'm going to use light language. It's not like that. It's normally like, say, if I'm if something's come up from the shadows, for me to look at, if there's some kind of past life trauma or even trauma from this life. It doesn't happen that much anymore because, I've done that shadow work for like a long time. I don't think I actually have a great deal of shadow left. There's
oh
shadow.
gosh, you
I'm not saying I
lucky
don't have
girl.
shadow, but
Well,
like, I still,
I've been doing it consciously for decades, and
yeah,
there's more coming up. And sometimes I know it's not mine, but you still have to
yeah.
do
But what
something.
happens though is there'll generally be, like there'll be a period of release,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And
Lots of
that
ways.
generally comes in the form of, it might be grief, crying, or it
Yeah.
could be anger, where I'm expressing anger. And then after anger generally comes grief because that's normally what's under anger. And then there'll be light language that comes through there. And then quite often when it shifts, there's a different lot of light language comes through. It's
Mm.
kind of like, so it's fairly similar to when I'm called to do work with the energy of the land, so like when there's grief and trauma held in the land,
Yeah.
and I'll come across, it hasn't happened for a while, but like, there's sometimes where I get guided to go to places, right? And I don't know why I'm going here, but I know I've got to go here, so I go there, and then light language comes through. And sometimes it's just simply just codes. It's a communication between me and whatever energy is, whether it's the energy of the earth or the trees or, like whatever's there. Other times it's been where there's grief and like, again, it's an emotional
Yeah.
release. It's like I'm just the conduit to release that, whatever it is. The light language comes through there. And then when that's finished, then and then more light language comes through. But I can feel the difference between when the light language is being used to release stuff that's held, and then when light language is being used to then impart codes into that land or whatever that is. So yeah, that's kind of how it's been for me. And then
Oh,
I had an interesting thing. So like before I started speaking light language, when I was doing shadow work, it was like I had specific ways that I would help to release. I would identify first what emotions there were there. You know, what are the emotions that I'm feeling in this, you know, whatever thing happens to activate something. And then I'm like, okay, let's have a look. What's the emotions that are here? And then I would call in Saint Germain and his violet flame, and I would throw all of those emotions into the violet flame. And then it would be like that. And then I would see, my Akashic records changing
lovely.
because of that. When I started speaking light language, it was a quicker way to do that. Instead of calling
Oh,
Saint Germain and the violet flame and throwing it all in and whatever, it would just be as soon as I had the intention, as soon as I'd identified things and I had the intention to let it go, the light language would come through. And then I would see, as I was speaking the light language, I would see the Akashic records all changing.
changing. You know, listening to that, thank you, because I was saying, can I have some of that, please? Can I have some of what she's having? Because for me, it's been like like decades ago, I was asked to be various animals for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. I
Yep.
didn't want to stop being wolf. I fell in love with the wolf energy and didn't want to stop being.
Yeah, okay.
That was a tough one to let go of. But I tend to be taken to various areas to just live there and do the work.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but what happened before is our beautiful harmony tree here behind us. When you started talking a bit earlier, can't even remember what you were saying, but it said it can't wait until we start conversing in light
Yes, in light language.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's sort of saying it's looking forward to connecting with the whole of the
Mm.
tree nation and the little people
Oh, yeah.
and sending it all out. So yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
So that will happen, but
Yep.
yeah, so that'll be nice. So yes, that's because that. But what I used to be told, especially in my earlier days, is not in life language, but my earlier days as I don't even know if I was still working then or whether I was doing healing work or what. I can't remember. Um, but I was often told when I'd go various places, like I lived up in the Bega Valley, etc., and whatever, I'd be told to lie down and read a book because they said, because of my mind, like Angel
Yeah.
Michael used to say, you got a mind like a steel trap, and
Yeah.
that's or you've got a mind with so many terms, like more than a terms contract, and that's not a compliment, he'd say.
Yeah.
It was like, it was like if you're lying there reading a book, then you're both a receiver and a transmitter, and we just do the work through you. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, okay.
I
Yeah,
used
yeah.
to
It's
love
like keep
that.
the mind, give her the book to keep the mind
Yeah,
occupied,
give
and
it-
then the
yeah,
work
yeah,
will
yeah,
come through. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. Just I love that. I know where because drawing was hard work. A woman I knew through a group I was in. Actually, it was a Quaker group.
Mm.
It wasn't a Quaker, but I was loved being part of this group. And when after I moved there, and the next time I saw her, I can't even remember her name now. Years since I've had any contact with her. She said, "I wondered how you were going to go because that whole area around Druin, and it had part of it when I was in Nearham South, but Druin, who was the Indigenous boxer? Um,
Indigenous what? Sorry.
Boxer, fighter, wasn't Lionel Rose?
Oh, Lionel Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Mm.
lot of his country people are up there.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And there'd been so many abuses up there.
Yeah.
And I was getting to the stage where, I was saying, when's it going to be time for me to move? Because
Mm.
I think I was in Druin about nearly 3 years. And one day I was in the middle of doing some thing with a group. And at the end of it, they said, it's time to go now. And
Yeah.
I was so happy. And that's when because I said I'd never come back to Melbourne.
Yeah.
But of course, by then my grandson was 4.5.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and I knew if I didn't
Yeah.
come back here,
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, sort of, I was so happy because it could be hard work in that area. Yeah,
Yeah.
even though, I mean, we did
Yes.
some amazing things. There were
Yeah.
some Indigenous women who started up a yarning circle in the
Yeah.
council rooms, would
Yeah.
you believe? So we would gather
Beautiful.
and we'd sit in a circle on the ground. Those who couldn't sit on
Mm.
a chair, we didn't have, the lovely stones that they've
Mm.
now got at my neighbouring city council here. They do their, we actually have there's actually a stone yarning circle there
Yeah,
that's
right.
been created, and we have
Okay.
there's a couple of events that I go to there that are regular, and
Nice.
they're amazing,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
it's a really good focus for other stuff.
Yeah.
But 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 there we were in the council room. So there was, but like they'd say, quite a lot of our people, there's so much infighting. We're not there yet, because I used to say, what can we do? What can I do to assist?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
said, whilst there's so much infighting, you
Yes.
can't. And they said,
Right.
quite a few of us, quite a few people, the Indigenous, won't go to the supermarkets until
Yeah.
late at night.
Yeah. Right.
That sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Wow.
still, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
So
So
have you got another question?
I've got two more.
Because I wanted to share something.
Okay. So what did you want to share?
It's gone out of my head, so ask the
Oh, okay.
question.
All right. All right. So what, if
Oh,
anything, have
yes.
you told your friends and family about light language, and how have they responded or reacted? Are they supportive, or have you not really? Yeah.
You're assuming I have a speaking relationship with my family
Mhm.
since
Yeah,
the
I know you're
sexual
not on,
abuse.
it's not, the
Yeah, and
relation
it and
is
and
not
it
good at
ca-
the moment.
and we went out mid-December, and I remember Kerry saying to me a couple of years ago, she used to be so open. I'm not talking
That's your
like
daughter?
my youngest
Yeah.
daughter. My other one wrote me off as soon as came out about the sexual abuse. She
Right.
was about 30 at the time. She's just shut me out from then, and she's 55 now. Her husband died 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and he's with me now.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
remember you talking
yeah,
about this.
I
Yeah.
actually, yeah,
Mm.
but no, there's the only time it came out conscious. Oh, amazingly, I had an appointment with a professional, right, about my
Yeah.
housing issue.
Oh, yeah.
She's a young woman. She
Yeah.
begged, can we come to your place next time? So they're coming here.
Huh.
She's coming here she said, I want to keep coming out to your place when I can. And I'll bring a different person from the office. We love to get out of the office. I was saying, oh no, I'll come to you because I thought they're so busy. But
Yeah.
she when I realised she really, but I actually, because I'd said to her when we talked on the phone before I went, and I said, I think I actually used the word, because I think I actually said the words. I'm going into, or I've just left a light language Zoom. And I said,
Oh,
it
okay.
just sort of came out.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I said, and I didn't go into what it was or anything, but it just came out naturally. But normally, no.
Yeah.
The closest they've got, my daughter and my grandson, who's now got a Stargate,
Mm.
um, haven't got a thank you for it. I don't, still, and I've been closed out even more.
Yeah.
But they came. I remember they came around to see me for one birthday. They didn't, not about light language, but they brought a candle, which was, they said, the closest they could get to the Stargate. They said, we know it's not a Stargate. So that felt like a really good step that
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
doing that. And interestingly, when I showed Stella, who's one of our Stargaters, for those who don't know, when her and Mark were around one day, she said, that's how I see the Stargate.
Oh, okay.
So that
Interesting.
was so that was really interesting.
All right.
So
Oh,
yeah, but
lovely.
no, Kerry said to me a few years ago, she, as I said, was so open. Now she's
Yeah.
so no, don't. But she said to me one day, she said, don't even say one word about your spirit. And I don't like the word spiritual.
Mm.
So many spiritual wankers came out during the lockdown period and are still. So
Yeah.
I don't even like the word. If I'm pushed, I say I'm an earth healer, because
Mm.
if somebody's asking me that question, means if I say I do grid work, they would have no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just say earth healer. And then if they need another sentence, I say, it's that simple, goes back to that, heal yourself, you heal your world. I don't
Yeah.
take it any further than that.
Yeah. I work with the energies of the land. That's
Yeah,
what I say to
that's a
people.
nice
I
way of
work
putting
with
it.
the energies of the land,
Mm,
or for somebody I might say, like I'm a steward of the land or whatever. But mostly I
mm,
just say I work with energies of the land.
mm,
I feel things and what have you. But
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
yeah. So my
Mm.
last question then is, what advice would you give to anyone who has just started out on their light language journey or who wishes to start transmitting light language? Do you have any words of
Yeah.
wisdom or advice that you might give to those people?
Yes, trust yourself and your intuition.
Mm.
You wouldn't be starting to bring light language through if you didn't have a strong essence and spirit wanting to come through. It simply wouldn't be coming through. So unless you're getting yucky feelings, in which case stop and yell, get away,
Yep.
get out of here, F off. Um, but yeah, trust yourself and your intuition because we've
Yeah.
all been told, and this is well, Bronwyn, I'm glad you started with telling me the year of the fire horse. It's our year, it's your year. And it's like, it's like, we've been shown that the
Mhm.
energies are getting lighter and
Yes.
lighter, you know, and the dark is lost. That
Yep.
thing of love will always win. So
Hmm.
if light language is wanting to come through now,
Yeah.
trust because it's perfect timing for
Yep.
you and you and you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Beautiful.
welcome to the family because it's
Mhm.
it's a fantastic. It, like it's just, as I said, it's like breathing, and it's a damn sight better than thinking.
Yep.
In fact, it's fantastic because the mind's not there.
Yeah.
If the mind comes in, then you're not going to be able to do it. Because even when I speak
Yeah.
English, my mind's not there. It's usually the beingness that's coming through me will say, this one, this
Mm.
one is struggling with this, or this one da da da,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
da 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 da. But it's, I just let it come through.
Beautiful. All right. Have you remembered what it was you were going to say?
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Just tell you another time.
You can send me a message on WhatsApp later on if you remember what it is.
Mm.
Okay, well, that's the end of the questions. Let's get to
Oh,
the
yes, the fun
sharing the
part.
light language part.
Oh, I'm going to put my feet on the ground
Yes.
so that I'm also on your roots, beautiful harmony tree, all the
Beautiful.
trees around. Mm. And
Um,
birds.
yep.
Kila kaskuhiska. Sikusudiata. Ah, tsugutikiata. Kia pu ku 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 tika.
So I'm just going to say for those of you who are new to light language or whatever, or even whatever you are, just close your eyes, allow yourself to relax, park your mind in neutral, and just allow the energies and the vibrations and the sounds of the transmitting what's being transmitted, the light language, to just wash over and through you. Okay, know that you're safe and that only benevolent beings are coming through us. So I'm just connecting to the earth as well. And yes, feeling the tree nations. They were really happy when you mentioned them earlier on before.
Mm.
Mm. Ai ela kai a shena na moyena kai e ka tia shusi tatata me nano kure e ke aulu kuya. E taraki ne nanana e ya. E atu mai e ya. E nane e tatui e shatatusi. Inana ne ne akuru ku ye manana e a tutu ye ele a takai tataru mana ye a ka ye a she a se turu ye nanala ya a ne a tuku ye ya mena na i e nana ye a tuku ye ya ara e a shusu tumi e na ka ye taru ui ye ya tu inana ye te ki a la ka ye shusu te ye ya ta u ka ye ya nanu ye ya i e taru ma. Ne akuya, e kalaya, hukuya ya, hukumaya ya ya.
Yes, ku. Kia ku. See, I've got my eyes closed and I'm seeing all these cats around me.
Mhm.
Kia, cool, foxes, wolves, ekbalam, black jaguar, all of the animal kingdom have come in because we've got the tree nation opening up and it's gorgeous. And then the little people and indigenous all over the world encircling us. Kia tuku, sia tuku,
Mm.
sia kasku, sia ko tiki kiata, kia kakatuku, ko ko ko. Ko, ko, ko. I can almost hear the didgeridoo. Kia katu, kia tuhu, tiki kata, kata kuku, si lukua. See, this is what I was going to say before they want me to share it through the
Mhm.
light language as well. That those I know of as the Children's Collective who first came through me just before
Mm.
Egypt, March. So it'll be coming up for 3 or 4 years nowish. They came through me. They are the children who agree as souls to come in to be abused underground and have, well, that are being rescued. They came to me in joy 3 or 4 years ago. They came to me in a session with Stargate in breakout rooms. We went to a universe where all of the children are children. There's no adults. It's all children. Begs belief, but it was amazing. And what we did, I can't tell, they want to say it, but first they want to dance. This is why we have, it's like this huge corroboree. It's like the trees. It's like the trees, the beings, the animals. They're all in this dance with the children because the children know that the light has won. And the message we want to give you coming through the tree nation, through the human here, the humans here, is one, that love always wins. But the gift and why so many from the universes, the cosmos and the universes are here at this time is because the human, and this is what comes through even more in the light language, is because you have this gift with all the SH going on of bringing the love and the compassion together. This is human, human at its essence, at its best. And this is why we come in and sing and dance and play with you from all over the cosmos, the universe, the universes. In that beautiful soup, we come together to celebrate that love and compassion together are healing not just Kikatakua, not just Goddess Gaia and humanity, but beyond that, to the galaxy, the universe, the universes. Now we dance. Tiatuko, Kilakasku. Come and dance with us. Come and dance and trust yourself. Your light language, come as dance. Come and dance with us. Sing with us. Play with us. Yes. Tu, te kata. Kia kata. I'm almost feeling the tree behind me, my dear, dear friend here, reaching down and hugging me.
Mhm.
In response to all the hugs I give it,
Mhm.
coming back and hugging me.
Mm.
Kia kaskua, kia kaskua,
Mm.
kia kaskua,
Mm.
kia kaskua.
Mm. Ja e ne na 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 e ke ra le a taraki e ra kara ya she tatata si to tukura ya mana e na na e ne ne ya takari e a tatatu ya. I she sa taturi e ana kai haulo ko e a ya ya tu. I na 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 i she tatatu si te te e na mo ya tai ya. O she la ke sa tatura ya ama u ya ya roko ya ya te a yumu ya. E la kashi si taturu ma ye taki e ne anano ye ata. E la kashi si tatu ne nana ruma mana ya la ya kukayata. E ashi si tatare ya ne akuma na ya tatai e ya. O ule ya kaya ya tushi se tatatulu ya. Inaki e atatai she saturu. Tati atutu ya turu ma ye ya. Nani ala kuki e shetaro si taramaya. E tarau ye naro ya la ya turuma. Kaye e te auma e tarai. She si tu ukora ye anomo ye. E kaluku ye ya aria ya. E la kuya mu. Taria she si tarauko ya. Nena no mo ye kia tu ye atara ye a u ya. E a tia shise a tu muka a u. Te aroka i ne ha. E ta i ke roko ye ya te a shasi taruma. Ne na ye ia tu ka ya. Ne na roko ya mu. Ye atara. Na ye aruko ye ha. Maria Chiara Yeshe Satuku Ye Amaya. Nea Taraiki e Tarashi Se Atumu e Akayaturu Ie a. Ma Te Ashi Se Tukuma. Na Ye Taroku Mea ya. We are here on behalf of the Tree Nations. We speak for them. We are representatives. Kia lukushi saturuma ayatuma iatara ikiatara. And it brings us great joy that you have acknowledged us and called us into this energetic transmission Danayano no kuyata that is happening between the two of you. Ashisatu kuyata yatara umayati, with this beautiful big tree behind this one that you can see, and the trees behind the other one, which you cannot see but were revealed earlier before the recording started, tasasa, so that this other one, Barb, could see them. Tashitu tusuka yamane yatarai ke etararumo yayanya. Nea tu shisi tarake ela kia turuka yamaha ha yatara uma shise ta ukayata. We wish to convey the joy that it brings us when you consciously hug a tree, when you consciously hug one of us. Yatu kishi se tarakaina karaye nanumoshi satai ke alukoyata. Know that there is a transmission happening between each one, the tree and the wahaga. Ishisatu kuyeyatu kumala katari shisata umaya kayayata. And that this exchange, this energetic and this acknowledgement and consciousness of being aware of the tree is then transmitted through the tree's roots to all the other trees in the area. And it gives us great hope that you humans are now starting to stand beside us. Ma oye ara e karokushi tazika aleaki, standing tall like trees yourselves, reaching into the cosmos and being directly and deeply grounded into the earth. Kashusa tuku lea kanayama ataita ti aukuma e shasita tata ikatu, so that you too can be transmitters of energy from the cosmos into the earth and from the earth into the cosmos. Iki satulu kuyema ka itaraya, as our trees have been for eons and eons and eons of time. Alokuki aye ma o ke ashi se taruku ma ule atara ye na kaya. Uye tare ye kana ya kaya oloko maaya. Nera kaika kukaya e atara mishi sa tayaka. We are in great joy. Hmm.
And so it is. Oh. Mm. Feeling this energy going out way beyond the Stargate, through all the kingdoms, wherever it is welcomed, just for a second, a tree or a cat or a bird saying, "Oh, thank you. Oh, this is nice."
Mm. And so just starting to become aware of your body, becoming aware of your own energetic field, where you are in the room around you, becoming aware of the room or the surroundings around you, feeling yourself in the body, feeling deeply connected to the earth, remembering your connection, seeing the roots coming from the soles of your feet into the earth, being deeply grounded, becoming aware of your breath. Just wriggling your fingers and your toes or moving your body in some way. Really helping that energy to be embodied. And feeling the groundedness. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Mm.
thank you so much, Barb.
Well, I wasn't really even looking forward to this because I didn't think I had anything to say. Which, given how much I speak, it's a bit crazy. But I really, but I didn't, and I just sort of thought, okay. So I'm
I
so
knew that.
glad. Thank you.
I
It
knew
was
once
just,
I started asking questions and we started talking, it would just flow, and
oh, it
whatever
was
was meant
beautiful.
to come out
It was,
would come.
it was beautiful. My heart is a because I had a life and death night last night.
Yeah. Okay.
Really was in so many ways. Could hardly breathe, etc.
Mm.
Did a universe? Yeah. Anyway, I won't go into the details, but my heart is so full and
Mhm.
open now, and was
Good.
as soon as we started
Yeah.
seeing the beautiful face there. So it was beautiful. So
You're very
thank you for the gift
welcome.
you're giving the world in this journey you've been facilitating. It's very, very special.
Oh, thank you, Barb.
It's a
Yeah.
joy.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It's
Mm,
it's for me it's an honor. It's a
mm,
it really is um a divinely a divine service, you know.
yeah,
It's just really
yeah.
divine service. So
Well, as I said, seeing one of the people just really open up this time, the last
mm,
session for the first time, was
yeah,
just it was
yeah,
just a joy to be able to be part of that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He has shared before, but not I don't
Yes.
think the other
Not
day was quite
not
big.
like this. And he
No.
started the
Yeah,
session by
yeah,
thinking of the woman whose sister's passing,
yeah.
by verbalizing that. So that,
Yes.
that just showed, yeah,
Yeah.
and that set the scene for the whole session.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did.
So yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So we're talking
yes.
about it for those of the audience who have no idea what we're talking about. I
No,
run
I don't
I
think they
run
need
light
to.
I facilitate light language gatherings
Mm.
once a month roughly, and we had one the other day, and Barb, that's what we're talking about. So yeah.
So it's just
Oh,
getting more profound each time. So
it
let that
is,
light
yeah.
language come through you and come and
Yeah.
join us.
Yes, that's the one.
Beautiful
I'll put
peoples.
my email address in the information below the below this for anyone who wishes to contact me about getting joining us on that or getting knowing a little bit more about it. You can do that. So do you have anything you want to promote, like anything that you're doing? You said you're not doing one-on-one sessions. You haven't got
No,
like
what
a YouTube
what
channel or a
what
web page or
happened
anything like that,
just
have you?
just really quickly, and this is if anybody's because I did mention the children's collective
Mm,
who came to me first. I'm a channel for them,
yeah.
and they came to me I was at the base of Gooliga, which had to be. I used to live up in that area, which is the sacred mountain here in the far south coast of the Yuin Nation, and the birthing place for the babies. So very much the divine feminine energy. And they came to me with a real sense of celebration because they're celebrating that we are starting to wake up all over the world and going to this universe we went to that's just all children. And what came through for me very strongly, I was going to go in and ask Alcazar a question, but I couldn't find the link, and in the end I dozed most of the morning. But I already know it because Alcazar had said once we get more powerful in our groups coming together, and there's thousands of groups all over the world, as well as the Stargate groups, that we would be able to change things that were happening on the earth. What happened, and I didn't realize straight away, but I went back into the group. We were in little breakout rooms, and then to share is that we have changed in what happened in the last 24, 48 hours. We actually have changed what's going, because the children's collective are they're beyond ecstatic, and so are all the energies. It was amazing because all of our children came in from all the lifetimes we've had, the male and the female aspects of each of us in this lifetime, and then all of the animals and the little people and the whole earth, like I had a microcosm of it before, coming through at the end of the light language there, and that what we did in the last Stargate session and the jump we did, we have made a significant change as a group for and with humanity and all of our goddess Gaia's kingdoms. And if anyone wants to find out more about the Children's Collective, because as they're being saved, and many of them have been saved from underground and have already received healing, they are going to need assistance because they don't want to be institutionalized. That's not the they're part of our world leaders for the future. So so you can put my email there and my phone number if anyone wants to contact me to find out more or even chat about it. I would be honoured and deeply, deeply, deeply grateful and welcome. And they're saying yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, great. Excellent. Okay, well, on that note, I'm going to end the recording. So we'll say goodbye to the viewers. Goodbye. And we hope you've enjoyed this. And we look forward to, I look forward to you tuning in to the next interview that we have. Not Barb and I, another interview with somebody else who speaks light language. But thank you. And hit the like button. Share it amongst your friends. That would be very helpful if you could do that.
Is this going on YouTube? Because I think that's what you said. Is that where you're posting it?
Yeah,
like button. That sounds like YouTube.
It does sound like YouTube.
That's getting public.
Well, I'll chat to you in a minute. I'll just send the recording first.
Not now.
Okay. All right. Goodbye to the viewers, and we'll see you again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.